Hi. That's my first hi in 2024, and I'm wishing you a very, very happy new year and with lots of joy and visibility. For those of you who struggle to become visible. And before I forget it, I want to offer something helping people who are either artists or are self-employed, have a little business, and who are struggling with becoming visible. Want to become visible, but don't want to at the same time, like I talked about before. I want to offer something, and I would love to talk to some of you, do some marketing research interviews, and so if you would like to talk to me, then send me an email. I will drop it in the description. Maybe I should have said that at the end. Maybe I will remind you at the end. And as you can hear, I'm not sounding perfect. I got as a Christmas present, I got COVID. And last time I tested, which was yesterday, I was still positive. So I hope that COVID is gonna leave me very soon. And yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit with you about, share a little bit a review of 2023 and what it was all about for me, because I kind of had an intention, which I was calling doing everything wrong. And I want to tell you in a minute how that panned out for me. And for this year, for 2024, I decided to focus on setting standards or having standards with myself, with other people. Don't ask me what that really means, because I think I still have to figure that one out for myself. So last year, I think, I don't know, first it sounded like a fun idea to do this with the, doing everything wrong, because I had that feeling it might free me of, not doing things because I think they might not be perfect enough and so on. So one of my first things I was doing last year was doing a new website, which I actually want to rework again, but it was just about doing it and getting it out there, because my old one wasn't working for such a long time anymore. And then I was doing some little quirky videos, I remember. And that was still in the beginning, where you have that intention still very clear in your head, and you kind of maybe do more actively things. But when I look back, one of the biggest things for me was actually something I never intended to do. I kind of did something very wrong in their eyes, I have to say, because I wasn't acting the way I was expected to anymore. And it was an incident with someone very close to me. And I kind of lost it a little bit and told my truth. And it had incredible consequences for me, also because I wasn't playing the same games anymore. That is really thanks to Dr. Ramani and her online healing program from narcissistic abuse. So I was able to apply the tools, but it was really, really tough. I wasn't called for my birthday. I was silent treated for 3 months, and it kind of changed everything and came with a lot of grief and realizations what's really going on. There were certain things I already knew, And other things I just kind of was more in denial about. And with those reactions, there was no way to be ignorant about that anymore. So I guess that was my biggest doing things wrong, which was maybe also really liberating on some level. And then another thing that stands out for me was when I started, I think it was last year in June, I started doing was doing a challenge with George Kao, who teaches authentic business, and he taught his content creation and had a challenge, and so that's how I started doing videos regularly. And I started out still editing them, and then at some point I was just putting on the camera, do my high, and talk with kind of having an idea what was important to me. And it was a revelation to me to see that there are really things that are important for me to talk about and that they matter to me. And I think one of the greatest gifts was to see later in the year that there were certain videos that really spoke to people. And maybe it's kind of a weird thing that particularly, or the first one that really kind of had many people reacting, was the pain of becoming visible. So in a way, maybe I gave myself the gift of becoming visible to myself and others. Yes. So yeah, and of course another thing that's not, so that was really particularly talking about doing things wrong. But what else happened was, so I started off my year in Portugal, and then in May I had to leave, and I was leaving back to Ireland with my then still old VW Golf. And I actually wanted to drive back. It's a long drive back to Ireland with a friend of mine, and he canceled on me a day before or 2 days before. And so I ended up doing that drive on my own. I visited friends of mine in Cornwall I hadn't seen ever since I had left in England. And I was so proud of me doing this trip. That was a real highlight for me of that year, because I had a lot of anxiety about the car and about having to do it on my own, because I have also health challenges which kind of flared up after I had arrived, but I did do it. And so that was a huge accomplishment for me. I came back to Ireland and things went pear-shaped. I had to move out because the landlady wanted to sell the house. I decided to then move completely to Portugal, and yeah, so I came here to Portugal in September. And so that was, and 2023 was an intense year on really many levels. Yes, that's what I would call it, intense. And who knows what 2024 has in store for me and for us. I do know that I love doing the videos, and that I want to really help people who have been going through similar things like me. I know that. And I want to find a more permanent place to live. I know that too. And so this is me. We always have, I think, so when you come to highlights and lowlights, I think my highlight was that trip, and my lowlight was going through this immense upheaval by not doing things the way or behaving the way I was expected to. But that was very necessary at the same time. Yes, so that was a little bit a longer video. And I just wanted to remind you that please reach out to me if you would like to connect with me and have a chat on Zoom with me about your struggles and wishes to become visible so that I have a better understanding what the problem is. And other than that, I would love to hear what was going on for you in 2023. What were your challenges and what were your highlights? And do you have, like me, something to focus on, something you want to check back in with throughout the year? So mine was having standards. So again, I'm wishing you a really happy and great 2024. Take good care. Bye-bye.